done it. I've used all my power. I used all my energy and
Right.
power.
All right, Dhamma, tell
She-
me what I'm supposed to do about not being good at anything anymore. Like,
Just
I
be.
had skills and they don't exist anymore.
You had skills. They don't exist.
Yes.
That's okay.
Lots of them, but specifically baking was
Eddie
the
can't
one that
talk.
threw me overboard today.
Eddie can't talk for the next 10 minutes. But you're good at baking?
No, I'm not anymore. I used to be. This is where this is coming from. I used to be able to like bake a cake without a recipe, and today I underbaked a box cake.
Underbaked. So what's the problem?
I lost a skill.
You didn't lose a skill. You just lost one cake, and you didn't even lose the cake. It's just slightly underbaked. You not put it back in the oven.
Yeah. Maybe you gained a new skill. You invented a new type of mushy cake or something.
Souffle.
Yes, it's called Salmonella Special. Exactly my intention.
Yeah.
Dogs
you
might
guys.
like it if you've dogs.
Yeah, just practice a little more, that's all.
So you think I should go through and relearn all of the skills I've lost?
What, for baking a cake?
Not just baking. Baking is just the most recent skill I've realized I've lost, and I thought I still had it. I went from having like 10
Just
skills
take some
to
eggs
having
in a
like
bowl.
3.
Just take some eggs in a bowl, put some flour and some water, and put it in the oven, dude.
Yeah,
You know?
one failed cake does not a failed baker make. Can try again. If you got more flour, more eggs, more butter, more sugar, just do it again.
Yeah, it's not hard.
I'm not excited by the prospect of relearning 30 years of skills.
I baked
Maybe these are
flatbread.
skills I don't need.
No, it's not difficult. It's a lot of pretension that seems to make things difficult. You know, we watch all these shows that are like, oh, it has to have this amount of this and this and that. But I never measure anything. I just like do it. It always turns out okay. You know?
Yeah, any in like in like the physical world, like skills, any skill that we learn is really just practicing something, and every time you do it, you learn a little bit more, and your brain remembers some of it, forgets some of it, and then if you do it regularly enough, you can do it without needing the recipes or the instructions. But then if we don't do something for a while, it's normal that the brain just puts the information into overwrite and then writes over it with other stuff. But it'd come back if you want to get back into baking cakes. Just practice more and it'll come back.
Yeah, why did you forget?
I couldn't forget. I followed a box of instructions
The
to make
instructions
it
could be
easier on
wrong.
myself.
But what led to being able to bake to not being able to bake? Just not doing it enough?
Not doing it. Yeah.
Oh, just start doing it. A lot of the
That's
Zen
what I'm saying.
masters were cooks, you know? So it'll be good Dhamma practice to relearn how to bake.
I was hoping that wasn't the answer. I was hoping. Well, actually, I shouldn't say I was hoping that wasn't the answer. I lied. I'm just kidding.
Or don't bake. That's
I was
okay,
just.
too.
I was hoping that you guys were gonna tell me if it's not a skill you need, then just let it go.
You don't
Well,
need
you
it.
know,
Shops sell cakes. If you want a cake, just go to the shop and buy a cake. Job done.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's okay.
cheesecake.
You guys are right. You guys are right. I'll just learn all my skills over again.
You can do anything you want.
I
To
know that's the
believe in
problem.
yourself.
Yeah, I spent like a year doing this intensive cybersecurity course, and I learned loads of stuff, passed some exams with really good, really high scores, and then couldn't find a job doing it in Vietnam, where I am, and now I've forgotten everything. I don't know. I couldn't do anything beyond basic stuff, and that's okay. If I'm interested in it again, I'll start doing it again just for fun, and if not, then I don't, and it can just be fully forgotten, and that's okay.
All right, fair, fair. I did after I had the meltdown, I decided to try again. I had another box, thankfully.
How was it?
I don't know, it's in the oven, I'll let you guys know.
Okay. I find cake's good,
Um,
even if cake doesn't work out. If it's not too like liquid inside, like if it's still sort of baked, just mix it with some ice cream and it's all right.
yeah, no. The cake straight up gaslit me. I mean it was a bundt cake, so it's like a circle, you know. I poked the thing in, a huge skewer in, like every inch through the whole thing, and some of it had even a little crumb come off, but none of it had any raw batter. And then I flipped the thing out, and it broke in half, and like none of it somehow was cooked. I don't understand. That's why I had a
Was the
breakdown.
oven just too low? Was the temperature too low, or
I
the
don't,
time that it was in for not long enough?
I, I don't know. I can't tell you. That's one thing I never pay attention to is bake time because every oven is different. I just shove the toothpick in or the thermometer and see how it comes out because like that's what bakers do who do it as a career. And it's never gone wrong until today.
Well, that's great. You've got like a 99.99% success record.
It's
Great.
like that.
Maybe I am looking at it wrong.
It's like that Zen story that Dhammarato used to say back in the day of the archer, where the Japanese archers, the Zen archers, would just draw back their bow, fire the arrow. They'd be very aware of what everything they were doing. But once the arrow left the bow, they would turn their back to it because they didn't care if it hit the mark because it was out of their control. They did everything they could, you know. And it's like when you bake a cake, just do the best you can. And when it's in the oven, it's in God's hands, you know.
Yeah, if it
I
doesn't
guess.
work out, you can blame God instead of yourself.
The narrative I'm gonna rate myself instead of not that I haven't lost a bunch of skills and not that it is not gonna not be beneficial to maybe work on them and get them back. But I really lucked out. You guys are right. I decided to keep baking because I started out doing well at it. And I never underbaked a cake when I first started. So it's okay. One underbaked cake in 15 years is not the end of the world. Or I should say, not the worst way to lose a skill.
Yeah, whether it comes out fully cooked or soggy or whatever, doesn't matter. Can you be okay with it no matter how it comes out?
No, I can't. But thank you, noble friends, for reassuring me.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah. Why can't you be okay with it?
Well, now I'm just not going to beat myself up about it. But because you're right, long track record. But I don't know. I guess none of you have ever dealt with like losing. I don't have that many skills. I don't have kids like to be like, oh, look, this is what I do with my time or the world. Like this is whatever. Um, Not that being okay with breathing isn't awesome. Thanks, guys, for making me like whatever feel better about that skill. But I didn't want it. I did it, right? It being the only skill someone has, um, especially when I didn't have that many in the first place, I don't know, was
You
not
only need one
sitting
skill.
great with that. Clearly,
Just
clearly.
your next breath. It's the only skill anybody needs.
I've lost loads of skills over my life, but even breathing, the body does it for you. Like, don't really need any skills. Like they can be fun. Like if you get enjoyment from baking cakes and you like baking cakes, then go bake away. But if a cake doesn't work out sometimes, that's okay. Just throw it in the bin and bake another cake, and that one might work out. There's no perfect cake. Just trying to bake a cake and do it. Physical world stuff. Just try, and if it works out this way, it works out this way or that way. And if you don't like the result, just try again. That's all you can do.
It can
Earlier,
definitely,
Dhamma.
it can
Oh, sorry.
definitely, yeah, just one thing. It can feel kind of like, can definitely feel crushing sometimes when there's like a bunch of time and effort put into something, especially in the long term, and you lose it. But it's a matter of like letting go of the past. It's not really there anymore because all you have is right now, and all you can really do is take action right now.
Yeah,
You're perfectly good enough right now. You don't need a perfect cake.
that's what I was gonna say. Oh, now I lost what Dhamma said, but he reminded something he said earlier reminded me of the same thing of like it's oh, busy work. That's what it was. Being like addicted to busy work. And it's like, yeah, especially now that I don't have skills, I'm not necessarily against not having skills. Like if I wasn't like baking for someone else in the first place, it probably wouldn't have bothered me. And they didn't, right? Like they don't have to get the cake. I don't have to rebake it for them. I'm just doing it because, but like I was like, really? There's no reason. I could do nothing all the time and be satisfied. And that's not that I was particularly ambitious ever, but like it feels wrong. Even though this is like what all of the mental health stuff has been trying to be help me with for years, it just feels wrong.
Robert Adams used to say, you have to learn to be a good for nothing. Just be a good for nothing nobody. It's okay.
Yeah. It's just weird that somehow being less ambitious than before is a positive somehow. But it's worked out well so far up until wanting to bake cake.
Yeah, nobody thinks Jetson Milarepa, the great Tibetan yogi, nobody thinks he was like this failure or something, you know? He sat in a cave doing nothing for like 10 years, 11 years, something.
That's it. The suffering comes from the wanting, comes from wanting to bake a good cake, from wanting it to
Hmm.
turn out and wanting it to be a certain way. And stuff doesn't always work out that way, and it's just attachment to wanting in it to do it. But it's all right. If it works out, fine. If it doesn't work out, just try again if you want to, or don't. Both are okay.
labeling it an attachment to lay life makes it easier to digest. Like, oh, if I didn't have these lay people, personal connection, real like relationship problems, I wouldn't be baking cake for people I care about, and I wouldn't have people I care about. So not the worst problem to have, but also way easier if I was just sitting somewhere alone.
Yeah, or you can have people that you care about and you love, but you don't have to bake them cakes if you don't find enjoyment in the baking process. You can just do something else instead. If you want to do something nice for them, just buy them a cake.
I mean,
I
really,
was
the best
wrong,
part
Dhamma.
is
This was not recording worthy. we really cleaned up the cake problem really quick, and we're trying to stretch it super hard. Alex, give us another 3 minutes on this recording.
No, remember this is a safe space for awkward conversations and silence. It's okay. We don't have to entertain anybody.
Oh,
You
I
know what I
remember
mean?
now. What I was gonna say is that what I've found is the nice part of learning to enjoy doing nothing is that it kind of helps when you're fine with being a good for nothing. It helps with like being fine with trying to do something else and failing at it. Because if you start from a point of not caring and you take action, like you don't need to get a certain output from the action to keep taking it. Which is definitely it's not a one-to-one. It still takes individual practice, but there's definitely overlap.
You know, you're right. If I was not so hung up on the fact that I was doing these things for so long, I would not be upset about not being able to do them. You're
Yeah,
absolutely
attachment
right.
to previous capabilities, attachment to something you put a lot of time and work into being able to do.
If this was my first time baking, I probably would have been like, oh no,
But
growing
I
pains of a
learned
new.
something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who
But
cares? It's my first
since it's
time.
like, oh my god, I've been able to bake so well for so long, and now I failed. There's this like, yeah, this feeling of inferiority. I should be good at it. These are the things I should have had, but they're gone now, and all this time and work I put into something is gone.
I feel like Dhammarato would say, whether you do good or bad with your cake, can you be joyful while you do it? That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, no, I don't think I could hand that cake to someone and feel joy handing it over.
But that's the point. What you were doing was not handing someone the cake, you were making it. That's in the future.
Yeah,
The
and
present
it's
was
never
making the
getting
cake.
there.
That's fine.
No, you're yeah, it is. Like we said, I just let them know it's salmonella flavored beforehand, and there's no issues. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
can
mean,
draw
go on.
a correlation between like skills and like physical stuff. Like if you used to go to the gym and you worked your way up to be able to lift like really heavy weights and do lots of reps and stuff, and then you don't go for ages, and then you go back and you try lifting the same weights, you can be disappointed with the fact that you can't lift the same weight still, or you can be like, oh, that's just what happens when you don't use the muscles. Like they get weaker, they sort of forget how to do things that they used to be able to. So now I have to start back at a a previous point and then work my way back up slowly. Like the same with mental skills too. If you don't use them, you gotta just take a few steps back and then start again practicing if that's what you want to do.
Well, I expected it to be more like the practice and like changing wholesome thoughts and breathing, where like, yeah, sometimes you take some time off, but like when you come back to it, it's pretty easy to get back in step with things, you know? There was no part of me that went, could ever expect that like poking holes through the cake wouldn't tell me if it's whatever, but silly me for getting attached to 15 years of experience.
It is not silly. It is
It
perfectly
is, though.
normal as
It
far
kind
as the
of
mind
is.
is concerned.
It kind of is.
It's silly from like a pursuing peace perspective, but in terms of like default human behavior, it is quite normal and expected.
Yeah, but also,
You don't want to be normal because normal people are lame.
no,
Right?
that's what I'm saying. That's the normal way to think about things. That's my point, right? Like, I know better. I already know that sometimes things go sideways, like in the strangest way that seems like it literally logically is not possible. I'm surprised that I was so surprised that I could underbake a cake, or like the cake could not like liquefy on the skewer. Like, yes, normal people, that should be it, right? Like, oh, past past experience tells me this is how the thing's gonna go, but like past experience is not necessarily a dictation of future experience
Right.
and should not be attached to that. And listening to you logic it out for me, I should have already known better and thought about that when it first happened.
I
And also
mean,
thought about the fact that I didn't underbake a cake when I first started. And like that too, Ben's right about.
that's kind of the funny thing. Like, it's not like you're gonna wake up on one day and you'll have no more attachments or no more unwholesome thoughts. Like maybe, but like unlikely. The biggest difference maker I've found is not that you stop having those kinds of thoughts entirely. It's that you recognize and distance yourself from them when they do happen. It's not about starting from the perfect point. It's about maintaining an attitude and like awareness.
Well, the good news is that this cake is not underbaked.
Yeah.
Oh, good
That's
job.
awesome.
Nice. See, no need to beat yourself up about beating yourself up. Just beat the eggs back up and put it in the oven again. Job done. How are you doing, Alex?
I am existing.
That's
It's a
good.
good one.
Right now, I am getting back to bed on time regularly because I had a phase where I would like randomly stay up all night and whatever due to attachments to spending time various ways or whatnot. But it is good for the body and important for a particular schedule that I'm holding to go to bed on time consistently. So that is my current practice of in terms of mortal stuff. In terms of
This is your
general
practice.
existence, I've noticed that life just gets like it just feels better to exist if I'm smiling. Some kind of physiological response or whatever that just makes a very large difference in the subjective feeling of life. If I smile, there doesn't have to be a reason. If I do it, then things are just nicer. Delays become amusing instead of annoying is an easy example of it. Just a more positive spin on everything.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Ivan, how you doing, dude? Oh, I'm sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, unreasonable happiness is great. You don't need a
Yeah.
reason. Just yeah, smile at everyone. If people think you, don't know. Not everyone likes being smiled at, but it's their bag. Be
I mean,
happy.
the funny thing is that a lot of people do. If you're happy to see
Yeah.
someone, people will usually be a lot more happy to see you, too. It's infectious.
I'm doing good, Dhammadasa. I'm just listening. Doing really
Good,
well.
dude.
Yes!
I was just thinking. I was just talking with someone the other day about like conditioning. Like how Alex talking about just now. Like it's not like you're gonna wake up one day and no more unwholesome thoughts or no more attachment. And I was just talking about we live in a society where messages can be conflicting. You don't see advertisement on the billboard that says, "Have you spent 10 minutes with yourself today?" Or stuff like, I don't know, just general sense of like taking good care of yourself. But that's not really what's happening in the world. Uh, People will ask, people talk about stuff and like Dhammadasa said, like just know like this is a safe space where there can be awkward silence and it's totally cool, and how nice it is to just enjoy that silence. Like the world doesn't really facilitate that sort of thing. So I really like to think about what Ajahn Chah always say, like the affair of the world, just let them be. The mind was the mind, the preoccupation is the preoccupation, and don't pick them up, then the mind's just being the mind, pretty free. And yeah, it's just like how Johnny says. I think I heard something she said earlier on, like a lot of things is pointing to the same truth, just different way of saying it. It's pretty much that, like solitude, like make sure your mind is guarded away from all those bullshit. and then it's pretty chill. It's not like you're avoiding things. I mean, it's you being wise about it, what's good for you, what's not good for you. And yeah, something like that. Just keep reminding again and again, this is nice, this is good. And eventually that becomes your reality. It's just,
Right.
at least I've been reflecting on that. I still catch myself complaining, catch myself, what's that? Oh yeah, feeling like a victim. Catch myself creating a stories of things that doesn't exist. And it's funny. It's just understanding the mind, understanding the conditioning. Like it makes sense. Growing out in this society of under this sort of influence for many years, what am I expecting? And I can be okay with that, and I can just wake up and make a wholesome change.
Yeah.
It's nice to move from that space where you hear someone say something like, don't concern yourself with worldly affairs, because lots of people say that in lots of different phrasing, and not hear like an excuse to not participate in the world or perpetuate or use it as an excuse to perpetuate like the grossness of the world by not by like turning a blind eye and like have practiced enough to understand actually what the underlying idea of it is, in that like those are causes and conditions dependent in originations, like yes, lots of things, but you're never going to do anything about those things. Even if you do make a dent, you're not doing like real work about the things, so don't get so caught up in it. Not don't do it, just don't hold it so close, because it's not the most important thing.
I mean, that's the key word, is concern. You can take action for worldly affairs and help people and whatever, but you don't have to feel bad about anything.
Yeah, but also said in a way where you're like, yes, take action. You're allowed to take action. That action can be practiced. That action could be feeding the poor. That action could be, whatever it is. And that's what that, right? Like, yes, action is involved in that statement and in that thought and that philosophy. It is not supposed to be used as an excuse to turn a blind eye to like negative worldly things, especially like systems that you might accidentally end up propping up. Like most people I like have come into contact with up until like hanging out here in this sangha with you guys, they would say those things and then use them as an excuse to like turn blind eyes to things that they know are going on that aren't good, or like not have to put out like the effort to do something about them. Like, I don't want to take the action because I don't want to put that effort in, and so I'm going to use this excuse that I'm not supposed to be involved in worldly affairs because they're not concerned with the spiritual path, in order to not put forth that effort.
You can also see that they'll, how should I put this? Like, yeah, some people are just gonna be like that. It's totally fine, and it's sort of it's pretty nice to realize. I always like to say this, like you could just pretty much align yourself with your value. If you value this, which true wise intention, reflection, wise wanting, that you want to be like this, you want to help the world, and you go forth and do it. And if people, like you said, or using skills or whatever kind of how we see it, it doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, let them, and it's totally okay. Like how Dhammadasa said last time, I think it's really funny and simple. If you want to help the world, just go ahead and do it. And it's pretty much just saying like because I see this sometimes happening in some spiritual server. People just complaining about the state of the world, saying how terrible it is, and it's like, I mean, what's the benefit of just, you keep perpetuating your own suffering? Like how is that? I think this is something that really differs. There's in modern terms lately, there's a word called engaged Buddhism, and then like there's activism, the mundane way of looking at things. I think, well, this is my opinion. The way I see it, like people that is really actually practice, that really understood the Buddha Dhamma, or any people that really understood, it doesn't have to be from the Buddha Dhamma, but they really understood. They just kind of engage and do it, and there's no this sort of like, oh, the world should be like this, or it should be like that. It just kind of just do it. There's this very acceptance of the world is messed up and it's okay. The world's messed up, but I'm still okay. I'm just gonna do what I think that might make things a bit better. But the way I see activism, they have this very general sense of like doom and gloom. It's like this very weird. The mind justify, like, I feel bad, you should feel bad, and everyone should feel bad to care about this. It's like, what? Like it's also delusional, because they are basically saying that if we are upset enough, the world will change to better. Like the world, like I don't know. Like, good luck stopping the war in Ukraine. Good luck stopping the tariff war that's happening between U.S. and China. Like what do you think you can do about that? Like, it's almost like this, really seeing things the way it is. Like the world is just like this. And the what you can do is align with your value. This, you think doing this you know reflects what you sincerely want from a wise perspective. And wisdom is basically saying this is all you can do, and you can feel good about your effort, and whatever happens, kind of like baking the cake. Abandoning the mundane result wanting behavior we've been taught for so long. So yeah.
I love how we're all attached to the idea of, or we're all okay with the idea of just eating raw cake now. Um, yes,
As long as
yes.
eatable.
I lost it making a joke. I agree, Ivan. You made me think of something else. But then I screwed myself out of the actual substance.
The actual substance was your joke. It's the joyful humor. It's always good. And it's like, if we remind ourselves too that, like, if we break it down and make things simple, it's like, why are most people into Buddhism? And what's the practice? A lot of it has to do with loving kindness and compassion and meditation, sati. So you do your sati, and if an injured dog or bird or human comes to you and needs help, you help them. And you go about your day, you know what I mean? And you can, if you choose, if you want to go and, like Ivan was saying, and do activism and try to save the world, you could do that too. But the world's kind of always been on fire, and there's all these different fires throughout it, and each generation thinks that their fire is the most important and most urgent. But everybody's thought that about their own time, but it is what it is. The world's always been on fire. And it doesn't mean don't do anything about it. But like I was saying, like, live your life, try to do the best you can. And if something occurs, you handle it. And you don't necessarily have to go out there and find it. Life is such that usually those natural things kind of find us. And if everybody just kind of lived that way, ironically, that would change the world for the better if everybody just, like Duncan Trussell was saying on this podcast I listened to the other day. It's like if everybody did their own little piece with the people, the animals around them, the environments just around them, that actually would change the world. But you got one person here trying to go out to save the world, one person here trying to set it on more fire, one person here, it's all scattered. But if we just did our best with what we can around us, that would really help. And that's kind of what the Dhamma is, the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. It's in a way, it's one of the best things that can help bring the world to a cooler state. Is if everybody started practicing the Dhamma. It's not we have to like go out there and preach and like make people force them to believe this, but like with whatever they believe, whether it's Christianity or whatever, just get everybody to breathe and relax more and help those beings that come to them when they come to them. It's quite simple and beautiful,
It's interesting. I read something that, well, I think it's insightful. Like, people that, I try not to use this word, but I can't find a better word. Let's just call it, people that's really well practiced in the Buddha Dharma, and when they engage in it, they don't really, what's that word? Like, in a weird way, they are okay with the world being fucked up. They're really okay with it because it's, well, it's just, what is it? Like the scientists kind of say, in another 100,000 years, the sun's going to swallow up the earth. I can't remember how long it will be.
It is billions of years, not 100,000.
All right, yes, billions of years. Yeah, they predict that. And I think even the Buddha actually kind of say something similar. Not like he's literally say the sun will swallow out the earth, but he says the earth will be gone one day, some shit like that. And he even said the Dharma will be gone away too someday. All this will be gone someday. And so yeah, it's not. I think. Oh yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is people that's kind of ordinary people. There's this sort of idea that like I don't know, like making the world to this way that they think it should be. And people that's well practiced know that it's not gonna be it's not gonna be the way I think it should be. And it's relieving in a sense that all you could do is just shoot the arrow and look away. And you don't care if it hits or not. You just know the intention aligned with your action. Your action aligns with the wholesome nature. See what's gonna happen. It's basically it's cosmic joke, like yeah, try to maintain whatever you think the world should be. It's gonna die one day, everything's gonna be gone. But it's not like you're being nihilistic about it. I think that's the subtle differences. It's not like I think some people have this very nihilistic outlook. And then they go into this feeling of helplessness, like and yeah, and then they just continue it like this very weird toxic loophole, keep feeling bad and then feeling helpless, feeling bad, feeling helpless. Like why bake the cake? And but then it's like you're realizing, oh, I can bake the cake and it's gonna be messed up sometime, and I could be happy with it either way. Of course, it takes training sometime. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be that way. I still catch myself. I think that's the funny thing. It's like a very I catch myself like having expectation, catching myself wanting it to be certain way. But I think that's the beauty. I think this is why this is like every time I'm here listening to you guys, it always reminded me again and again that um the reality of the things that it is. I think it's really beautiful to realize, oh, this will be gone one day. I think it's beautiful to realize anicca vata sankhara. and nothing can be maintained to your liking, not for 1 second. And it's nice because every time I remember that, I just realize, oh my god, my action is the only thing I can control, and it's nice to just realize that again and again. I think my ego sometimes don't want to realize that, you know. And it's nice to just knock that peck out of the wood and realize this is just it.
Everything is temporary, so the future is nothing. And if the future is nothing, then what is left is the present.
Exactly.
And the present has to be good enough because it's all we've got.
Yeah.
This is why I keep coming back here. You guys made the point I forgot I was making. It's gorgeous.
Well, dudes, you guys are awesome. I'm gonna get going. You guys can feel free to stay and chat if you like. Much peace and love.
You're awesome, man.
Have a good night, Dhamma. Enjoy the babies.
Yeah, take
Bye
care, Dhamma.
bye.
Take care,
Farewell.
Dhamma. Yeah.
Have a good one.